Rock Doctor coming at you live with another installment of What the F Should I Be Practicing? So today, this is the kitchen sink edition. So what am I talking about here today, folks? Well, I'm in the key of A again. I'm using my backing track in A number 1 again. But what was my point today? Let's pull a dry erase board up again. My fancy schmancy dry erase board. First off, I was focusing on 2 pentatonic scale shapes. I utilized what I like to call pentatonic scale number 1, the home scale, the one everybody knows. And I used it in 2 places today, in the 5th position and the 17th position, an octave higher. The only other shape I used was what I call pentatonic scale number 3. This is A minor pentatonic. This is in the 12th position. So my point today is, when we play, there are two concepts that we can use when we're playing our licks. One is licks that stay in one position, and licks that traverse from one position to another. It's a great way to get from one place on the fingerboard to another without getting lost. Yes! So, let's talk about the fingerings of those 2 scales first. Everybody knows this one. Look, let me go up here in the 5th position. Here's a pentatonic scale shape number 1 again, low to high. I've got 2 notes on the string, although a couple of my licks use the blue note, but that's okay. Let's just cover the basic one. So here we go. In the 5th position on the low string, I've got 5/8. The next 3 strings are 5/7, so the A string, 5/7, D string, 5/7, G string, 5/7. Then the final 2 strings, the B string and E string, 5/8. So there's number 1. It's also an octave higher at the 17th fret. I'll skip that just to save time. In the 12th position, the same scale goes like this. And it's important to know, to find this. If you're trying to find this as you're learning, I reference where the A note is. On the in the original scale, the A note is the low note here on the low E string 5th fret. Well, this next one, number 3, pentatonic number 3, the A note is on the A string 12th fret. And the shapes are almost identical, but let me just tell you the fret positions. Okay, so on the low E, I've got this. I've got 12 and 15. On the A string, same thing, 12, 15. On the D string, I've got 12 and 14. On the G, same thing, 12, 14. On the B, it's 13, 15. It's offset because of the tuning. And on the high E, it's 12 and 15. So there's that. Now, as far as the licks that I use, let me play through those. But make sure you just follow the tab and play along, so I don't have to discuss every minute detail of every single lick. Follow the tab. But here we go. I'm just using my 4 essential licks again. In the real world, you can put these together any way you want, but I used a specific order most of the time. But here we go. Here is essential lick number 1 again. In the 5th position, it's a single note. It's the 8th fret of the B string pushed up a whole step with vibrato. So it's a G note becoming an A. It's very important, an iconic move. You can start and end your solos with this, or any focal point of your solo. It's the root note of the key. There it is. The next lick, that's essential lick number 1. Essential lick number 2 is this descending guide that everybody uses. It goes like this. And what I did there was some pull-offs. On the high string, I pulled off from 8 to 5. B string, same thing. G strings, 8, 7, 5. And I ended on an A note. Let me stop here for a minute. Depending on the chord progression, which we'll talk about in a minute, in my example here, my backing track in A, I looped the first section. Here, let me pull it over. What the hell? Okay. So this little section that I looped, there's a little 2-bar section that goes from A minor to F, and I have a lick for that. In my backing track, that goes 3 times, so I have 3 licks. And every time I end one of those licks, whichever one I'm playing, I'm ending it on an A note, which hits when this F chord hits. So you got to know where you are. You got to know what the chords are underneath as you're playing, or you're going to F up. You don't want to sound like a dummy, so you got to know this. So the last note I play of any of these licks, if the F chord is there, is an A note. Why did I play A? Look, because in an F chord, there's an A note in there. It's a chord tone. So there you go. But the same licks, if I'm playing over the second section, I always have to end that on a chord tone of G. And in these examples, I chose to end on a D note, primarily because it was part of the fingering. I didn't have to leave the scale fingering to get that note to happen. It's right there under your fingers if you know the shapes. So a D note, if you look, excuse me, a G chord has the notes G, B, and D. So D is a safe note to end on for a G chord. You can't end it on an A. It'll sound like shit. So don't do that. All right, let's keep going. All right. So, okay. Let me play essential lick number 2 two ways again. Once ending on an A, which would fit an F chord. There's my A note. If you end it on a D note, that was the, what I did was I just threw away the last note of the original lick, okay? And I ended on 7 on the G string. Okay, there's that one. All right, essential lick number 3, I call it the 2 frets back move. And to play it in any position, you just have to know where your A note is. And it goes like this in the 5th position. Watch. Move back from the A note to the 3rd fret and play this. There it is. And I ended on an A note there. So the frets were on the low E, 3, 5. On the A string, 3, 5, slide to 7. On the D string, it's 5, 7, 7. If you're ending on the F chord, or any A chord. If you're going to end that sucker over a G chord, I went back a note. So instead of playing that note twice, the A note, I went back one. To the 5th fret. Well, that's actually a G note. What the hell do I know, right? But that's a chord tone of G. Okay, there's that. Sorry about that. But yeah, you know, I'm thinking on my feet here. All right. While I'm at it, let me do the descending version of the 2 frets back move right now, because I used it too. So here that is. Look, I start, in this instance, I start on the D string and I play 7, 5. Then I went to the A string and I played 7, 6, 5 to 3. Then I ended on A for the F chord. If I was going to end it over the G chord, I would probably do this. That's the D string on the, or the D note on the 5th fret of the A string. So you got to end your licks on the right note, okay? All right, essential lick number 4. This one is on the center strings. It's this. So what I did there was 3 whole step bends with a release on the G string 5, or 7 I should say, G string 7. Pull it off the 5 on the G and I ended on the D string 7, the A note. Now if I was going to make it fit a G chord at the end of a chord pattern, it would be, that's a D note there. So you can't just end on any old note, you got to know the right note. You can use your ear to do it. But if you learn my licks the way I'm talking about it, you're on your way. All right, now let's keep going. After I played through the first series of licks, I decided to move up the neck with the 2 frets back move. So I did this right here, look. Then I think I played the descending version of it too. And depending on where I was, I would either end on an A or a D or a G note. But so here's that though. In the center there, on the D string I played 5, hammer to 7. On the G, same thing, 5, hammer to 7. Slide to 9, and I went to the B string and played 8, 10, 10, if I'm ending on an A chord or an F chord. If I was ending on the G, I would go back a note like this. Here's the descending version of it too. I start on the B, so you got to know where you are. And I reference, you know, the scale shape, and then the root note of the key to find this shit. So it starts on an A note, see? So there that was. So that was on the B string. I pulled off from 10 to 8. Then I went to the G string and I played 9, 9, 8, 7, slide to 5, and then I ended on the D string 7. And that would fit an F or an A type chord. If I was going to end it for G, I played a D note there, see? So instead of ending on the D string 7, I ended on the G string 7, the D note. Okay, let's keep going. To get a little bit higher up the neck, to get to the 12th position, I decided to play the 2 frets back move here. So look where I'm at. Here's the A note. I go back 2 frets. There it is. So that was A string hammer from 10 to 12. Then the D string, same thing, hammer 10 to 12. Slide to 14. And then I went to the G, 12, 14, 14. And that would fit the A minor to F section perfectly. If I wanted to do it and resolve it to the G chord, I might do this. I just chip the last note away, the 14 A note, and turns it into a G. Okay. Now, let me give you the same 4 essential licks in the 12th position. Here we go. Number 1, the whole step bend is this. That's a G note bent up to an A. Same as this one. An octave higher on a different string. Essential lick number 2 is this. I ended on an A note there, which would fit the A chord or the F chord. The frets there on that guy are I string. I pulled off from 15 to 12. Then I moved up to the B string and I played this. 16, 15, 13. Then I went to the G string and played 14, 12, 14. And then again would fit the F or the A minor chord. To make it work for a G, you could do this. Like that would work. That was the same lick, I just ended on 12. See? Okay, let's keep going. In the 12th position, the 2 frets back move starts on the A string, the 10th fret, which is a G note. So there's that guy. And that was on the A, 10 hammer to 12. D string, same thing, 10 hammer to 12, slide to 14. Then the G string, 12, 14, 14. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2. Oh, by the way, as always, these licks are all 2 measures long. They fit the chord structure, which is also a little pattern of 2 chords that takes 2 measures. It's all linked together mathematically. All right. Let me do the descending version of that 2 frets back. Here, I'll work my way up to it. See, now on the way back, I've got this. So that was G string. I went from 14 to 12. You can pull it off. Then I went to the D string and I played 14, 13, 12. Swing to 10. And I ended on 12 on the A string twice. The A note. If I wanted to make it work for a G chord, I might do this. I hit a D note there. Going to the G. Don't put an A note over the G chord. It sounds like crap. Okay? And the fingering for that is this. G string, 14, pull off the 12. Then the D string, 14, 13, 12, slide to 10. Then to finish it up, to finish off on a G chord, I hit the 12th fret of the D string, which is a D note. Like that. Okay, now the final essential lick there in that position, in the 12th position, I call the essential lick number 4. It's still that whole step bend, like this. And that again will resolve to either an A minor or an F chord. And the frets are the B string 15, whole step bend 3 times. Release it, pull it off, or pick 13 on the same string. Then go to the next string with your middle finger and get 14, the A note. That will resolve to. See? If you wanted to resolve it for a G, I would do that. I played the same lick, but I didn't. I threw away the A note on the G and played the 15th fret of the B string, the D note. Okay, then I did one more thing to get up there in the demo. I think what I did was I played the 2 frets back move probably up here. Look, I'm referencing the A note now on 17. Look. Back 2 frets. Here's the descending version. I won't talk through the frets on that one. You just have it figured out. And then I went ahead and I played the essential licks up here, which would be this. Same as the first example, and then followed by and. So my point is, once you learn all these guys, you can basically play the entire fingerboard pretty much. You reference the home scale here. You can go from here all the way up to here without getting lost, which is 4 ideas. We've got 4 basic ideas that stay in one spot and play off the scale shape. Then we've got that 2 frets back move, either ascending or descending, that will take you all over the fingerboard. So that's one thing you should be practicing. But don't forget, you've got to know what the chords are as you're playing. You've got to know where the 1 is. You've got to lock your stuff in to the groove. And if you're, and this is dedicated to you guys, you're just getting started. Just play 1/8 notes. Don't go faster than that. 2 notes on a beat. It's easy to keep track of it, feel-wise, and don't try to shred. Don't fly the fighter jets yet. Stay in the Piper Cub until you can take off, fly around, and land every time without crashing. That's what we're trying to do here. All right. So it's me, the Rock Doctor. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. Find me a bass player that knows all the songs, especially when the vocals drop out and I got to play a solo and the dude's playing the right chords. Thank you, Jesus. I love you. All right.